Hi, I'm Carter Garrington. Can you imagine living in the colonial times compared to now? Well, I'm going to tell you 5 facts about New Jersey teenhood, my grandmother's teenhood, and myself. Transportation was a very important thing to me during this project, I thought. Today, boys who are 13 to 14 years old drive mopeds because that's kind of the only thing they really can't drive besides a bike. The car companies today we see are Ford, Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, BMW, Toyota, and Audi, and Volkswagen. We also drive motorized snowmobiles and four-wheelers for kind of a little bit of fun. Exercise is also another way of getting around, like jogging to places, and rollerblading and ice skating. During my grandma's time, the men drove Chevy Impalas convertibles. The rich men drove Corvettes, Ford Mustangs, and MGs. Another new popular car was the Volkswagen, and the vans were also very popular one too. This is a picture of the Ford Mustang convertible. And they also drove Schwinn bikes. That was kind of like their popular bike back then. In colonial times, the trails in New Jersey were started by the Lenape Indians for hunting and trading. Then the colonists made the trails bigger for horseback and stagecoach. Colonists made laws so that 2 men from each town would have to improve the roads for enough stagecoaches to get through, and it became really popular to travel a stagecoach. And these are people walking to their destination. My chores around the house consist of mowing the yard, cleaning the dishes, and vacuuming, and cleaning my room and doing stuff like that. Once in a while, I'll make my bed if I'm really bored. In my grandma's time, she ironed, and her brothers took out the garbages and they pulled weeds. She also did dishes and swept and cleaned up the house. Colonial chores at a young age were feeding the animals and weeding the garden. Girls would learn domestic household chores, baking, cooking, spinning, and sewing. They later learned how to plant, tend, and harvest crops. Then boys would do blacksmithing and tanning. They would later learn family skills that helped them later in life. Entertainment. My way of fun and my hobbies are today sports, football, baseball, wrestling, and soccer. And I also, with my friends, play hide and seek, night tag, and we also sometimes make forts if we're really bored. Usually my dad has bonfires, and we all get together and go down to the beach or something and mess around. For technology-wise, we have flat screens and we have Xbox 360s, and I play those all the time. In my grandma's time, their entertainment was going to like drive-in movies, going to the pool and swimming, and going boating if they had a lake. They also ice skated, rollerbladed, and they didn't really have much for TVs. They had 3 channels, and they just started coming out with color TVs, so I mean they didn't have that too much. In the colonial times, it isn't like today, but some ways are similar. In the colonial times, they played outside. They played tag, marbles, and hopscotch. They also had kites and made other games outside. They didn't really have much for toys besides dolls and jacks. And there's one toy they probably use as a top, and there's some jacks. Geographical features. My location is in Curly Lake, Iowa. I turned 13 in 2010, and I graduate in 2016. Curly Lake consists of a big sports lake, farmlands, plains, and some forest streams and marshes. We have really humid summers and really cold winters. And there's a picture of a field with snow on it. And there's a picture of like what our fall would look like. What? Buddy Holly used to play at the surf ballroom, and he died in a field north of Clear Lake. My grandma turned 13 years old in 1961, and her teenhood ended at 1967. That's when she turned 19. She was a city girl. She lived in Des Moines, Iowa. She lived outside of the city in a regular urban neighborhood. She was, her family was like a regular middle class family. In Iowa, there's rich farming soil and some forest. The capital of Des Moines is, the capital of Iowa is Des Moines, and there's a capital. New Jersey was established in 1609 to 1615. Their climate is similar to the Midwest and us. They have forests, streams, lakes, plains, hot, humid summers, and cold winters, but probably not as cold as Clear Lake because they live by the coast. It was also founded by the Dutch. And here's a picture of what their forests would probably look like, and here's some hills. Difficult times and situations. Today, teens face many challenges. Bullying is a big issue right now in schools because whether you look different or your race, usually kids get picked on even if they're small. Also, there was an oil spill last year that devastated the fishing business around the south coast. Also, a disease today is cancer. It is very devastating to many families, and we don't have a 100% cure for it, but that's what some of the cancer associations are for. There's a picture of a kid getting bullied, and there's a sign for breast cancer. In my grandma's times, she faced the John Kennedy assassination, and he was hope for many people at the time for their economy and just for the country. Another leader was Martin Luther King Jr. He was a very very spiritual person and a peacemaker speaker, and he was also a civil rights leader. And a lot of the colored people really looked up to him, and I'm sure a lot of other people did. I looked up to him too. There was a Trent War going on in the New Jersey colony at the time. It was deadly and killed many people and destroyed buildings and farms. It was not a good war. The fight was against the Patriots and the English because the Patriots were sick of the English controlling everything. Sickness was very challenging for the colonists too. The smallpox was the most feared and deadly one that killed people. Many doctors didn't know what they're doing, and they were underrated and didn't really know like what was going on with people when they were sick. From all these things I found out, I really noticed how things have really changed between me, my grandma, and the colonist. I picked these because I thought they were really important to me, and I use them in daily basis. And I think all these should be thought upon. How lucky we are to have the things we have today.